You want to talk a little Crootin?
Let's do it.
I'm Greg Tupper. That's Greg Powers. This is This Week in Crootin. It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Follow him on Twitter at GPowerScouts. He has fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. And, of course, this is brought to you by our good chicken friends at Chicken Express.
Sorry.
Chicken Express.
Worth it.
Chicken Express. If you can't smoke a ham.
Or a bonus ham.
Or a bonus ham. Go to Chicken Express.
Agree.
I just think, like again, if you can smoke a ham, smoking a ham's great.
But also still go to Chicken Express.
Also still go to Chicken Express.
You can live your absolute best life.
This is America. You can do whatever you want.
Granny, I apologize for this, what I'm about to say.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
But the only thing that was missing on Easter that we had last year that we didn't have this year was a chicken e-rolls.
Oh,
That's
man.
where...
Yeah, you know what? Because my mom made a ham. And she served it on Hawaiian rolls.
Yeah.
Which are great. I want to
Yeah.
be clear. But now I'm thinking about what a missed opportunity it was.
I couldn't quite put my finger on it until I sat down in this chair today and I was like, oh.
That's it. That's that emptiness that I feel
Yeah.
inside. I get that. I understand it.
Don't let your soul have emptiness.
I also ate
Get
ham.
you some Chicken Express.
You also ate ham?
Yeah, Mallory's grandma made us a ham.
Oh, rad.
It was sick.
Did you serve it with Chicken Express rolls? But you weren't.
No,
it was
they
your-
actually, they got, well, the butter at least was the Texas Roadhouse butter, like the cinnamon kind of.
Nice.
Oh, it was real good.
Go to Chicken Express, get their rolls. Also get their chicken, but get their rolls. It's This Week in Recruiting. Got a lot to talk about. We're going to start with our prospect on the rise. Our prospect on the rise. I'm glad we're getting an opportunity to talk about this young man.
Me too.
It is Lexington 2026 quarterback Case Evans, who this week picked up his first and second FBS offers.
This was a surprise. When I turned in This Week in Recruiting, he didn't have the second offer.
He got an offer from UTSA, Jeff Traylor, early adopter. I think just known as an early adopter. And then today, Florida Atlantic offered him. And so now Case Evans there has two offers there. It is about time. The only way I can describe this is this has got to be 3A, I don't think it's intentional, but 3A bias in the sense of he's a small school quarterback who puts up these big time numbers. But then you flip on the tape and you're like, oh, this guy is the real stinking deal. I love Case Evans.
I really like him too, and we've had the opportunity to see him up close and in person during the state qualifying tournament runs last year, and then at the state 7-on-7 tournament in College Station. And he always had tremendous pocket presence, poise, and a repeatable and consistent delivery. And I think where his game has taken an uptick this spring, I got to watch him at the Elite 11 camp a few weeks back. His arm strength is better, and I think it's just behind natural development, natural growth. I mean, he's a legit 6'2.5", 6'3", pushing up around 200 pounds now. This is a big dude,
yes,
right? And I think when we first saw him throw, he was probably 6'1", 175. He's added some to his frame, and that's noticeable on his fastball.
Here's the other thing about Case Evans, and you know that I'm going to go back to this because this is the way that I think about recruiting. I just think this kid's a winner, and you can't really teach that. I mean, this is a guy who went 12-2 last year, then went 9-4 the year before. I mean, this is a guy who has been just consistently putting his team in a position to win, consistently putting up big-time numbers. I mean, they averaged almost 50 points a game last year.
3,113 yards and 37 TDs last year. And you don't necessarily think of them as a powerhouse. I don't know. At least I haven't, because they've had really good running backs in recent memory. I always think about Lexington being a run-heavy team. But then I see Case Evans' numbers, and I'm kind of shocked about his production and the leadership is there. So he checks all the boxes. It's happy to see him get on the board with a couple of these big offers, and I think they'll keep rolling in throughout the spring eval period.
I also just think that, and we've now gotten to the point that if Jeff Traylor offers a Texas high school football quarterback, you should sit up and pay attention.
I also think they have to be careful about who they offer because people do pay attention. People do pay attention.
If we can sniff it out, then I guarantee you the head coach at Mississippi State can sniff it.
They're strategically recruiting and making offers. When they make an offer, it's pointed.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's roll on to our commit of the week. Our commit of the week, we're going to North Crowley. This is going to stun you guys, but North Crowley's got a dude. North Crowley safety Aaron Bradshaw this week, a 2026 prospect, now a 2026 commit to Texas Tech. The Red Raiders haul in the outstanding safety there from North Crowley. They beat out TCU, LSU, Houston. I mean, this was not an uncontested commitment here. They had to fight for this one, but Texas Tech earns the commitment of Aaron Bradshaw.
This is a fun commitment to me, and here's why. Aaron Bradshaw, 6'3", 190 pounds, is one of those guys who can kind of do everything. And North Crowley's going to be looking for some experience to bring up into the box now that Jonathan Cunningham is gone. So I'll be interested to see how Coach Gates and co use Bradshaw within the defensive schemes last year. He finished with 36 tackles, 4 interceptions, a couple of forced fumbles, and 3 PBUs last year, and he's already rated as the number 7 safety in the DCTF safety rankings for the class of 2026. So this is a big get for Texas Tech because he not only plays for a bona fide and proven winner, 6A Division I state champions last year, the North Crowley team had a very talented team, but he also picked them over conference rivals in Houston and TCU. So that's a big win. That's a big win right there for Joey McGuire, and especially, like North Crowley, we kind of think of them as a TCU school, so feather in the cap.
Really, really nice get there for North Crowley. And one of the other things is, I know last year, obviously, the North Crowley offense was like the headline grabber. Let's not overlook how good that defense was with Aaron Bradshaw, a key part of what they were doing defensively in route to that state championship.
And if they're going to run it back, those are the guys they need because they're bringing back a lot of depth on defense where there's some question marks on offense. I think that they'll be fine.
Somehow
they're going to be fine on offense, but I think if you wanted to say here are some question marks, they have to replace Quentin Gibson. They have to replace Chris Jemerson, even though they do have some depth and talent coming back up front and in the backfield.
Let's round it all out with our underclassmen of the week. Our underclassmen of the week, we're going to South Houston High School in Pasadena ISD to talk about their defensive end in the 2027 class, Xavier Muhammad, who picked up an offer from TCU last week. He's already got offers from the aforementioned Texas Tech, the aforementioned UTSA, Houston, SMU, kind of blowing up here, and it's easy to see why when you flip on the tape. 6'4", 230-ish. As a guy who was playing a huge role for South Houston as a sophomore last year, only getting better, and a guy who is a name you need to familiarize yourself with. I know 247 Sports has him as a 4-star already, and this guy is a dude.
So does Dave Campbell. He was on the initial 5-star watch list, so we have verified a lot of the talent that he brings to the table by putting him on that. So he's in the mix for that 5-star status, and that's because he's so athletic off the edge. He's a tremendous basketball player.
Yeah, he put up like 15 and 12 last year.
He's he's really good at hoops, and to me that speaks to his upside as a prospect, and I think that's why you saw 24/7. They were actually first to name him a 4-star. He was on, in their initial rankings. And that's when he popped onto my radar because I didn't know much about him at that time. But since then, everything I've seen about Muhammad has been really good. Backs up what he brings to the table in the gridiron with the athleticism that he brings to other sports. And then at the Under Armour camp, he was one of the best dudes there. And it was because of his quick twitch, but he also has the hips. And you don't hear a lot of people talk about hips when they talk about defensive ends, but it's really important. He can bend the corner naturally, and he's just going to be a monster. He is a
monster. He was spectacular as a sophomore there for South Houston, and he's only going to get better. And he's also a track guy. Like, he kind of ticks a lot of the boxes, and I'm glad he's on our kind of 5-star radar there.
He's just starting to scratch the surface of his football potential. I think this year is going to be like an eye-opening year. His tape is going to I predict his tape is going to be really strong this season.
Every year is an eye-opening year for Greg Powers, our director of recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScouts. He's fine work at texasfootball.com/recruiting.